Today I'd like to talk about responsibility because as we all mature and hopefully get a little wiser, the word responsibility starts to mean something different, something deeper, something more complex. You see, as toddlers, our responsibilities are minor. Don't go to the bathroom in your pants, don't eat the glue, and don't embarrass your mom in public. As kids, they get a little more significant, like to watch over your little sister in the backyard, share your toys with your friends, and always use please and thank you. But as young adults, our responsibilities rise to a much higher level. They start to define who we are, what we want out of life, and how we want to be defined as individuals. We should start to look at our responsibilities in 4 basic ways: being responsible to yourself, to your community, to our nation, and to our world. Being responsible to yourself is not only first because it's the most important, but it's the key ingredient to all the rest. For me, it's about being the best you can be, trying hardest with everything you do, from the little things to the big things. It's about character, owning up to your mistakes and learning from them. And it's about listening to your conscience and realizing that there's a higher power. Now's the time where we start to look inside ourselves, realize our challenges and meet them head on. Now's the time where we start to rely more on ourselves and that little voice inside us that tells us right from wrong. Being responsible to yourself is about realizing the things that are most important in your life and taking control over them. It's about personal effort, not outcome. In other words, it's our responsibility to continue the effort regardless of the outcome. Let me tell you a quick story, and I promise it'll be short. I ran for the vice president of the 6th grade 3 years ago, and I prepared a speech how we should all be proud of our school and how voting was preparing us to be responsible citizens as adults. Now, I knew going into that speech that the only way to win was to promise more popsicle days, more days off of school, and more field trips. But I also knew I couldn't deliver on any of those promises. So I prepared a speech about the importance of voting, because I had a responsibility to myself, to use the time wisely I had in front of my school to deliver a message important to me. Needless to say, if I didn't take the time to prepare and deliver a responsible speech back then, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today delivering this one. That's why it's always important to be responsible to yourself. Being responsible to your community, for me, is about one thing: giving back. Sometimes it's by giving money, sometimes it's by giving your time, but other times it's by simply making the right choices in life. Every day in life we are faced with choices, like whether or not to be polite to someone even if they're not polite to you, or whether or not to include the new girl at school on your party list, or whether or not to be honest with a friend and need some good advice. When we make the right choices in life, we positively affect our community, and a community that most of us will live in for the rest of our lives. That's why it's so important that we are responsible to our community. Being responsible to your nation is about honoring our country, knowing why we are free and participating in the process. It's about understanding our history, where we came from, what we overcame and why. Slavery, world wars, terrorism, and extreme poverty. Growing up during the era, the first Black president makes me proud to be an American, but only because I know my history, only because I understand the story of Martin Luther King, and I know where we came from, and I'm participating in the process of moving us forward. This makes me responsible to my nation. Last, but probably tied for first, is being responsible to your world. This is understanding and respecting that we are not the only nation out there, and as human beings, we share a connection with all people everywhere. Last summer, I participated in Putney camps in an outreach program in Costa Rica, where we built a school in a low-income area. When I was there, I was honoring my country, and it was my responsibility to share my country's message. When you suffer, we suffer. When you are discriminated against, we are discriminated against. When you are treated unfairly and inhumane, it's a reflection on all of us. Now, we can't force a way of life on everyone, but we can do something. Being responsible to your world is about doing something. My name is Jacqueline Budin, and I'm going to do something. That's my responsibility.
Thank you.